The morning sky over Washington turned black as the massive ships appeared. Admiral Jake Morrison stood at the Pentagon window, watching the enormous alien vessel hovering above the city. Its dark hull stretched for miles, blocking out the sun completely. Similar ships had appeared over every major city on Earth at the exact same moment. The communication came 3 hours later. The aliens called themselves the Hegemony. Their message played on every screen, every radio, every device capable of receiving signals across the planet. The voice was cold and mechanical, speaking perfect English. "We are the Hegemony. We rule 12 species across this galaxy. Your world will submit to our control. You have 30 days to surrender completely. If you refuse, we will destroy every living thing on your planet." Commander Lisa Hayes rushed into Morrison's office with a thick folder of reports. Her face was pale as she spread photos and data across his desk. The images showed alien ships over London, Tokyo, Moscow, and dozens of other cities. Each vessel was identical, each positioning itself perfectly over population centers. "Sir, we count over 200 ships worldwide," Hayes said. "Our satellites can barely get readings through their hull material. Whatever it's made of, it's blocking most of our scans." Dr. Carl Bennett arrived shortly after, carrying his laptop and looking exhausted. As Earth's top expert on theoretical alien life, he had been called in immediately. Bennett sat down heavily and opened his computer. "I've been analyzing their transmission," Bennett said. "The technology behind it is incredible. They managed to hack into every communication system on Earth simultaneously. That level of technological superiority suggests they're centuries ahead of us, maybe more." Morrison nodded grimly. "What about their ships?" "From what our telescopes can see, they're using some kind of energy shielding. Our military analysts estimate each ship could carry anywhere from 10,000 to 50,000 alien soldiers. The weapon systems we can detect are beyond anything in our arsenal." The next few days brought panic across Earth. Governments held emergency meetings. Military forces were placed on high alert, though everyone knew conventional weapons would be useless. The alien ships simply hung in the sky, silent and menacing, waiting. Captain Amy Rodriguez was working the night shift at Luna Base, Earth's primary deep space monitoring station, when something unusual appeared on her screens. She had been tracking the alien ships since their arrival, but now her instruments were detecting something different. "Control, this is Luna Base," Rodriguez spoke into her headset. "I'm picking up new contacts approaching from the outer system. These don't match the alien ship signatures we've been tracking." The response came quickly from Earth Control. "Luna Base, can you get better resolution on those contacts?" Rodriguez adjusted her equipment and waited. The new ships were much smaller than the Hegemony vessels, and they seemed to be trying to avoid detection. Their approach was careful, almost cautious. "Control, I count approximately 15 vessels. They're heading toward the dark side of the moon and maintaining radio silence. These are definitely not human ships, but they're also not matching Hegemony technology." Back on Earth, Dr. Bennett was working around the clock to decode alien communications. The Hegemony had been broadcasting constantly, though most of their messages seemed to be routine status reports. What concerned him was the tone of these communications. The aliens spoke about humanity the way humans might discuss insects. "They don't see us as people," Bennett explained to Morrison during their daily briefing. "In their transmissions, they refer to Earth as Resource Node 7749, and humans as biological units. To them, we're nothing more than livestock." Hayes spread out tactical reports across the conference table. "Every military expert we've consulted agrees that direct confrontation is impossible. Their technology is too advanced. One of their smaller escort ships could probably destroy our entire navy." Morrison studied the reports. The situation seemed hopeless. Earth's most powerful weapons couldn't even scratch the alien hulls. Their communications technology was centuries beyond human capability. Even if every nation worked together, resistance appeared futile. But Rodriguez's discovery changed everything. The mysterious ships gathering on the moon's far side had finally made contact. The message was brief and transmitted on an old emergency frequency that only Luna Base was monitoring. "Human station, we are friends. We have been waiting to see if your species would fight or surrender. We are survivors of worlds the Hegemony has conquered. We wish to speak with your leaders." Rodriguez immediately contacted Earth Control. Within hours, a secure communication link was established between Luna Base and the Pentagon. The alien voice that came through was different from the Hegemony's cold mechanical tone. This voice carried emotion, pain, and something else that surprised everyone listening: hope. "We are refugees," the alien explained. "Our worlds fell to the hegemony decades ago. Some of us escaped, and we have been hiding in the empty spaces between stars. We watched your world because we hoped you might be different." Morrison stepped forward to the microphone. "Different how? Every world the hegemony has conquered fell alone. Each species believed they were the only ones facing this threat. They surrendered quickly or died fighting separately. But you have something we have not seen before. You have the potential to unite not just your own world, but others like us." Bennett leaned in. "How many survivors are there?" "Many more than you might think. The hegemony has conquered hundreds of worlds, but they never completely destroy every living being. There are always survivors, always those who escape. We have been scattered and hiding, but we have been watching and waiting." Hayes asked the crucial question: "Can you help us fight them?" "We have knowledge of their weaknesses. We have technology they don't know we possess. And most importantly, we have been preparing for this moment. The hegemony believes they are invincible because no world has ever truly fought back. They expect easy victory." The transmission continued for hours. The refugees explained that they had been monitoring human broadcasts for decades, learning about Earth's history and culture. They were particularly impressed by humanity's ability to form alliances even with former enemies. "Your species has fought terrible wars, but you have also shown an unusual capacity for cooperation when facing common threats. This is exactly what the galaxy needs." Morrison felt hope for the first time since the ships had arrived. "What do you propose?" "Meet with us. Learn what we know. The hegemony has given you 30 days, but they will not expect resistance until the deadline approaches. That gives us time to prepare." The alien ships had started this as humanity's greatest threat. But as Morrison ended the communication, he realized they might have become something else entirely: humanity's greatest opportunity. The war for Earth was about to begin, but humanity would not be fighting alone. Captain Ben Parker had never expected to be Earth's first alien diplomat. But here he was, suited up and preparing to board a shuttle to the moon's dark side. The refugee ships had agreed to meet in person, something that required careful planning since no one knew what to expect. Dr. Kate Sullivan sat across from Parker in the shuttle, reviewing her translation equipment. As Earth's leading expert in language patterns, she had been working non-stop to develop communication protocols. The refugees had been transmitting in English, but their sentence structures suggested very different ways of thinking. Colonel Rick Davis completed their small delegation. His job was to assess the military capabilities of their potential allies and determine how they might work together. Davis had studied every piece of available data about the refugee ships, but the aliens had been careful to reveal very little about their true abilities. The shuttle approached the coordinates provided by the refugees. Parker looked out the window and gasped. 15 alien vessels floated in the darkness, each one completely different from the others. Some were sleek and metallic, others appeared to be made of crystal, and one seemed to be composed entirely of swirling energy. "Luna Base, this is Shuttle 1. Parker spoke into his radio. "The alien ships are unlike anything we expected. They don't appear to be from the same species." Rodriguez's voice crackled back from Luna Base. "Confirmed, Shuttle 1. We're tracking multiple distinct technology signatures. It looks like you're meeting with several different alien races." The largest ship extended what appeared to be a docking tube. Parker guided their shuttle into position, and within minutes they were walking through an airlock into an alien vessel. The corridor beyond was dimly lit and filled with a strange humming sound. Their first contact was with a being that introduced itself as Keth High Representative Harmony of Stars. The creature stood nearly 8 feet tall and appeared to be made of living crystal. Its voice resonated through the air in musical tones that Sullivan's equipment translated into words. "Welcome, humans of Earth. We are pleased that you chose to meet with us rather than surrender immediately to the hegemony." Sullivan activated her recording equipment. "We're grateful for your offer of help. Can you tell us about the other species here?" Harmony of Stars gestured toward a viewing window where the other ships were visible. "We represent the survivors of many worlds. The insectoid vessels belong to the Vorthak, whose homeworld was stripped of all resources 70 years ago. The energy beings are Zelani, whose star was artificially collapsed to power hegemony weapons." Davis leaned forward. "How did you all find each other?" "Survival creates unexpected alliances. When your world is destroyed, differences become meaningless. We have spent decades hiding in asteroid fields and empty star systems, sharing resources and knowledge. We learned that cooperation is the only way to survive hegemony rule. They were led to a large chamber where representatives from all the refugee species had gathered. Parker had trouble believing what he was seeing. The Vorthak were massive insectoid creatures with cybernetic implants covering much of their bodies. The Zilani appeared as shifting patterns of light that maintained roughly humanoid shapes. Other species were even more unusual. The Grinding Stones Speak were rock-like beings that communicated through vibrations in the floor. The swift current flows resembled aquatic creatures that moved in mechanical suits filled with liquid. Each group had their own translator working with Sullivan to establish communication. A Vorthak named Clicking Metal Sounds stepped forward. Its mechanical voice was harsh but understandable. Humans, we offer you knowledge that no single world possesses. Each of our species learned different things about hegemony weaknesses before our worlds fell. Parker nodded. What kind of weaknesses? Harmony of Stars answered. The hegemony's greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. They control everything through a central command network. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier receives orders through this system. A Zilani being that called itself Dancing Through Void flickered brighter. Our people discovered that their command ship, called the Dominion's Fist, controls the entire invasion fleet. If this ship is damaged or destroyed, the other vessels lose coordination. Davis pulled out his tablet and started taking notes. How heavily defended is this command ship? Clicking Metal Sounds made a sound that the translator interpreted as bitter laughter. Extremely. It never approaches planets directly. The hegemony learned long ago to keep their command structure safe, while their regular forces do the fighting. Sullivan asked the question that was troubling her most. If you know about these weaknesses, why haven't you been able to use this knowledge? The chamber fell silent for a moment. Finally, Harmony of Stars responded. Because we are refugees. Our numbers are small, our ships are damaged, and we have been hiding for decades. We have the knowledge, but not the strength to act on it. Parker began to understand. But with Earth's help, you could have that strength. Precisely. Dancing Through Void flickered in what might have been excitement. Your world has not yet been conquered. Your people still have hope, still have the will to fight. Combined with our knowledge and technology, resistance becomes possible. Over the next several hours, the refugee representatives shared detailed information about hegemony tactics, technology, and military doctrine. The picture that emerged was both frightening and encouraging. The hegemony was incredibly powerful, but they had grown overconfident. They expected quick surrender or brief, hopeless resistance. No world had ever mounted an organized defense with outside help. Clicking Metal Sounds explained their standard procedure. They arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, and give a short deadline. Most worlds submit immediately. Those that resist are crushed quickly and completely. They have never faced a coordinated response. The refugees also shared something else. Technology. The HFY had developed energy weapons that could penetrate hegemony shields. The Vorthak had learned to modify existing technology, to hide energy signatures from hegemony sensors. The Zilani could interfere with enemy communications in ways that appeared to be natural system failures. Dr. Sullivan was amazed by the translation challenges. Each species thought in completely different ways. The HFY experienced time as harmony and discord. The Vorthak saw everything in terms of mechanical efficiency. The Zilani perceived reality as flowing energy patterns, but despite these differences, they all shared one thing: a burning desire to strike back at the hegemony. Davis compiled his military assessment. These species complement each other perfectly. The HFY provide advanced weapons technology. The Vorthak offer engineering expertise and heavy manufacturing capability. The Zilani can serve as scouts and saboteurs. Parker realized the implications. Together you represent the combined knowledge of dozens of conquered worlds. More than that, Harmony of Stars resonated with harmonics that suggested deep satisfaction. We represent proof that the hegemony can be defeated. Every species here survived their world's conquest. Every species here has learned something valuable about our enemy. The meeting continued for another 6 hours as they discussed practical details. The refugees had been preparing for this opportunity for decades. They had mobile factories hidden in asteroid belts, weapons caches scattered across multiple star systems, and most importantly, detailed intelligence about hegemony fleet movements. As the shuttle prepared to return to Earth, Parker felt cautiously optimistic for the first time since the invasion began. Humanity was no longer alone in facing this threat. Sullivan had filled multiple data storage devices with translation protocols and tactical information. Davis had detailed specifications for alien technologies that could be adapted to human manufacturing. But most importantly, they had allies. Species that understood the hegemony better than any human could, and who were willing to risk everything for a chance at revenge. The war for Earth was about to become something much larger, the first coordinated resistance in galactic history. General Paul Martinez had never imagined he would be running the largest secret operation in human history from an abandoned coal mine in West Virginia. The tunnel stretched for miles underground, far enough below the surface that hegemony sensors couldn't detect the massive activity taking place. 3 weeks had passed since the first contact with the refugee aliens. Earth's governments had publicly announced their intention to negotiate with the hegemony, buying precious time while the real work happened in hidden locations around the world. Lieutenant Nina Adams guided a group of Vorthak engineers through the underground factory complex. The insectoid aliens worked alongside human technicians, their cybernetic implants allowing them to interface directly with both human and alien computer systems. "The fusion process is working better than we expected," Adams reported to Martinez. "The Vorthak manufacturing techniques are incredibly efficient. We're producing hybrid components 3 times faster than originally planned." The hybrid technology was remarkable. Human ships were being retrofitted with Keth-high energy shields and Vorthak weapon systems. The result was vessels that looked human from the outside, but packed firepower that could match hegemony technology. Dr. Alex Morgan worked in a laboratory that had been carved directly into the rock walls. Surrounded by both human and alien equipment, he was developing what the refugees called a quantum virus, and a piece of code that could spread through the hegemony's command network and disable their ships. "The beautiful thing about their centralized system," Morgan explained to Martinez during their daily briefing, "is that it creates a single point of failure. If we can get this virus into their command ship, it will propagate to every vessel in their fleet." Martinez studied the progress reports spread across his desk. Similar operations were taking place in dozens of locations worldwide. Old subway systems in New York had become weapon storage facilities. Abandoned military bases in Nevada housed refugee technology workshops. Even decommissioned oil platforms in the ocean were serving as hidden launch sites. Commander Steve Johnson had the difficult job of coordinating between all the different alien species and human military units. Each group had their own communication methods, their own tactical preferences, and their own ideas about how to fight the hegemony. "The biggest challenge isn't the technology," Johnson explained to his staff. "It's getting everyone to work together. The Keth-high think in terms of harmonic coordination. The Vorthak want mechanical precision. Humans want flexible improvisation. Somehow we need to make all of this function as a single fighting force." The Zilani had proven to be invaluable allies in ways no one had expected. Being composed of pure energy, they could infiltrate hegemony ships without being detected. Dancing Through Void had personally scouted 3 of the massive vessels hovering over Earth cities. "The enemy ships are exactly as we expected," Dancing Through Void reported through the translation system. "Heavy armor, powerful weapons, but they rely completely on their command network for coordination. Without orders from the Dominion's fist, they become much less effective." Captain Julie Pierce commanded one of the first completed hybrid vessels, a modified destroyer that had been renamed Earth's Defiance. The ship looked like a standard human warship, but its interior was filled with alien technology that had been integrated into every system. "The energy weapons are incredible," Pierce reported after the first test flight. "The Keth-high systems generate power levels we've never achieved. The Vorthak targeting computers can track multiple fast-moving targets simultaneously. And the Zilani communication enhancement lets us coordinate with other ships almost instantly." But the most important discovery came from the refugee intelligence network. The hegemony had made a critical mistake in their overconfidence. They had positioned their command ship, the Dominion's Fist, at the edge of the solar system where they believed it would be completely safe. Harmony of Stars provided detailed information about the massive vessel. "It is larger than any ship we have encountered. The Dominion's fist serves as command center for the entire invasion fleet. It contains the primary computer systems that control every hegemony vessel in your solar system. Martinez realized the opportunity this presented. If we can reach that ship and upload the quantum virus, we can disable their entire fleet. The approach will be extremely dangerous, clicking metal sounds warned. The command ship is protected by hundreds of escort vessels. It also carries the most advanced weapons in the hegemony arsenal. Dr. Morgan had been working with HFY scientists to refine the quantum virus. The crystalline beings understood energy patterns in ways that human science was only beginning to comprehend. "We've improved the virus significantly," Morgan reported. "Once it enters their system, it will spread through their quantum communication network and disable ship functions one by one. The process should take approximately 12 minutes to affect the entire fleet." The plan was ambitious and desperate. Earth's hybrid fleet would need to fight through layers of hegemony defenses, reach the command ship, and deliver the virus before being destroyed. Even with alien technology, the odds were terrible. But the refugees had one more surprise to offer. Species that had been hiding throughout the galaxy were beginning to emerge from their hiding places. Word of Earth's resistance had spread through secret communication networks, inspiring hope in civilizations that had given up decades ago. "We are receiving messages from survivor groups in 17 different star systems," Johnson reported excitedly. "They want to coordinate their own uprisings with our attack on the hegemony fleet." Martinez felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. This was no longer just about saving Earth. They were potentially starting the first galactic rebellion in centuries. The hybrid ships were ready. The quantum virus was prepared. The refugee allies had shared everything they knew about hegemony tactics and weaknesses. Hidden throughout the solar system, in asteroid belts and behind planetary moons, the combined fleet waited for the signal to attack. President Helen Clark had been playing her part perfectly, publicly negotiating with the hegemony, while secretly coordinating the resistance. Her final broadcast would give the hegemony exactly what they expected: Earth's apparent surrender. "Tomorrow, we make the announcement," Martinez told his assembled commanders. "Earth officially surrenders to the hegemony. They'll move in to accept our capitulation, and that's when we strike." The hegemony ships had remained in their positions over Earth's cities for 29 days, waiting for humanity's inevitable surrender. Their arrogance was absolute. They had conquered hundreds of worlds using exactly this strategy, and they saw no reason why Earth should be different. But Earth was different. Not because humans were stronger or smarter than other species, but because for the first time in galactic history, a world under threat had found allies willing to fight alongside them. Adams completed her final inspection of the hybrid fleet. "All ships report ready for combat operations. Alien technology integration is complete. All crews have trained on the new systems." Pierce tested her ship's systems one final time. Earth's defiance responded perfectly to her commands, human intuition enhanced by alien precision. Morgan uploaded the quantum virus to a secure delivery system. "The payload is ready. Once we reach the command ship, deployment should take less than 30 seconds. Martinez looked at the tactical display showing friendly forces positioned throughout the solar system. Human ships with alien technology, refugee vessels that had been hiding for decades, and scout ships from species the hegemony thought they had completely destroyed. The 30-day deadline would expire at dawn. Earth would publicly surrender. The hegemony would move to accept that surrender, and the largest coordinated military operation in galactic history would begin. For the first time since the alien ships had appeared, Martinez allowed himself to feel confident. They might still lose, but they would not lose alone, and they would not lose quietly. Dawn broke over Washington as President Helen Clark stood before the cameras for what the hegemony believed would be Earth's final surrender. Her words were broadcast across the planet and transmitted to the alien ships waiting in orbit. "On behalf of all humanity, I announce our complete and unconditional surrender to the hegemony," Clark said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what was about to unfold. "We request that your forces approach Earth to formalize this surrender." Above the cities, the massive hegemony ships began to move for the first time in 30 days. They descended slowly toward the surface, their commanders confident that another world had fallen without meaningful resistance. But hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Tony Russell received the real signal. The code phrase, "The Eagle has landed," meant only one thing. The battle for Earth had begun. Russell commanded the hybrid cruiser Phoenix Rising, one of 50 ships that had been retrofitted with alien technology. His vessel looked like a standard human destroyer, but the Keth-high energy weapons and Vorthak targeting systems made it more powerful than anything in Earth's original fleet. "All ships, this is Phoenix Actual," Russell transmitted on the encrypted channel. "Operation Liberation is now active. Repeat, Operation Liberation is active." Across the solar system, the hidden fleet began to move. Ships emerged from behind planetary moons, rose from asteroid hiding places, and decloaked using Zilani energy manipulation technology. For the first time in galactic history, conquered worlds were fighting back together. Admiral Jake Morrison coordinated the battle from the secret command center buried beneath the Colorado Mountains. His tactical display showed friendly forces throughout the solar system: human-alien hybrid ships, refugee vessels that had been hiding for decades, and scouts from species the hegemony thought were extinct. "Admiral, we have movement from the hegemony fleet," reported Commander Lisa Hayes. "They're descending toward major population centers as expected. The command ship Dominion's Fist is maintaining position at the solar system's edge." Morrison nodded. "Execute Phase 1. All units. Begin the approach." The first indication the hegemony had that something was wrong came when their sensors detected massive energy signatures appearing throughout the solar system. Ships that shouldn't exist were moving toward their positions with impossible speed. Captain Amy Rodriguez had moved from Luna Base to command one of the hybrid vessels. Her ship, Luna's Revenge, burst from behind Earth's moon along with a squadron of Vorthak heavy cruisers. The insectoid aliens had hidden their ships in the lunar shadow, completely invisible to hegemony sensors. "Target the escort ships first," Rodriguez ordered. "We need to clear a path to the main vessels." The battle erupted across multiple fronts simultaneously. Near Jupiter, Keith-high crystal ships engaged hegemony patrol vessels with energy weapons that cut through alien armor like it was paper. The crystalline beings fought with perfect coordination, their ships moving in harmonic patterns that confused enemy targeting systems. Around Mars, Solani energy beings infiltrated hegemony ships directly, disrupting their internal systems and causing cascading failures. The energy-based aliens could pass through solid matter, making them impossible to stop with conventional defenses. But the main battle focused on Earth itself. The hegemony ships descending toward the planet suddenly found themselves under attack from directions they had never considered. Underground launch sites opened across every continent, revealing hybrid ships that rose to meet the alien vessels. Lieutenant Nina Adams piloted one of the smaller hybrid fighters, engaging hegemony escort craft above New York City. Her ship's Vorthak targeting system tracked 3 enemy vessels simultaneously, while Keth-high shields absorbed incoming fire. "The alien technology is working better than we hoped," Adams reported over the communication network. "I'm taking hits that would have destroyed a normal fighter, but the shields are holding." The surprise was complete. The hegemony had expected to collect Earth's surrender and add another world to their empire. Instead, they found themselves fighting technology they had never encountered, deployed by species they thought were dead. Dr. Carl Bennett monitored hegemony communications from the command center. The alien transmissions had changed from confident status reports to confused emergency signals. "They're trying to adapt," Bennett reported to Morrison. "But they've never faced this combination of technologies before. Their tactical database has no reference for coordinated resistance by multiple conquered species." The battle's turning point came when Captain Ben Parker led a strike, forced toward the real target, the Dominion's Fist. The massive command ship hung at the edge of the solar system, protected by hundreds of escort vessels and bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. Parker's force included the best hybrid ships Earth had produced, supported by refugee vessels from dozens of different species. Each alien ship brought unique capabilities that complemented the others perfectly. "Target analysis confirms what the refugees told us," Parker reported. "The command ship is heavily defended, but those defenses are designed to stop conventional attacks. They're not prepared for our hybrid approach." The assault on the Dominion's Fist became the most desperate part of the battle. Hegemony defenders threw everything they had at the approaching ships, but the attackers pressed forward with determination. born of generations of oppression. Commander Steve Johnson coordinated the different alien species as they fought together for the first time in decades. HFY units, focus your energy weapons on the shield generators. 4th heavy ships, target the main gun emplacements. Solani scouts, infiltrate their communication systems. The coordination was imperfect but effective. Each species contributed their unique abilities while human ships provided the backbone of conventional firepower. The combination proved more effective than any single species could have achieved alone. Dr. Alex Morgan waited aboard one of the ships approaching the command vessel, his quantum virus ready for deployment. The weapon represented the combined knowledge of multiple conquered civilizations, refined by human innovation and alien expertise. We're almost in range, reported Captain Julie Pierce from Earth's Defiance. Her ship had fought through 3 layers of defenders and was now within striking distance of the Dominion's fist, preparing to deploy the quantum payload. The final approach was costly. Hegemony weapons destroyed several hybrid ships and damaged many others. But the attackers kept coming, driven by the knowledge that this was their only chance for freedom. Pierce's ship reached the command vessel's hull and successfully deployed the quantum virus. The invisible weapon spread through the hegemony's computer network like a digital plague, corrupting command protocols and disrupting ship coordination. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Throughout the solar system, hegemony ships began to lose coordination. Their perfect formations dissolved into chaos as individual commanders found themselves cut off from central command. "It's working," Hayes reported excitedly. "Hegemony vessels are losing formation discipline. Many ships are dead in space with system failures." But the hegemony had one final desperate option. Rather than accept defeat, they activated a planetary destroyer weapon aboard the Dominion's fist. The massive device began charging for a shot that would crack Earth's crust and render the planet uninhabitable. Morrison watched the energy readings climb on his display. "How long until that weapon fires?" Bennett checked his calculations. "Approximately 8 minutes, Admiral. If they complete the firing sequence, Earth will be completely destroyed." The news spread quickly through the fleet. Every ship capable of movement began converging on the command vessel, knowing that 8 minutes was all they had left to save not just Earth, but every species fighting for freedom. Parker took command of the final assault. "All ships maximum speed toward the planetary destroyer. We stop that weapon or we all die together." The next 8 minutes would determine the fate of the galaxy. Captain Ben Parker pushed his engines beyond safe limits as he led the desperate charge toward the Dominion's fist. The planetary destroyer weapon was charging, its energy readings climbing toward the point where it could crack Earth's crust and kill every living thing on the planet. 6 minutes until firing. "Sequence completes," reported Dr. Alex Morgan over the communication channel. "All ships need to focus fire on the weapon array." The combined fleet converged on the massive command ship from every direction. Human hybrid vessels, refugee ships from dozens of species, and alien scouts that had been hiding for decades all united in a final desperate assault. Commander Steve Johnson coordinated the attack from his position aboard one of the Vorthak heavy cruisers. The insectoid aliens had volunteered to spearhead the assault, knowing their heavily armored ships could absorb more punishment than the human vessels. "HFY energy weapons are cutting through their outer hull," Johnson reported, "but the planetary destroyer is buried deep inside the ship. We need to get closer." Captain Amy Rodriguez piloted her ship Luna's Revenge directly toward the weapon array, followed by a squadron of hybrid fighters. The hegemony's defensive fire was intense, but the attackers kept coming. 4 minutes remaining, Morgan announced grimly. "We're running out of time." That's when something unexpected happened. Admiral Jake Morrison, monitoring galactic communications from Earth's command center, detected massive activity throughout hegemony space. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy," reported Commander Lisa Hayes excitedly. "Enslaved worlds are detecting our battle and beginning their own uprisings." The quantum virus that had disrupted the hegemony fleet was spreading beyond the solar system. As it propagated through their galactic communication network, it was carrying information about Earth's resistance to every conquered world. Dr. Carl Bennett decoded the incoming messages with growing amazement. "Rebellions are starting simultaneously on dozens of hegemony worlds. They're using our battle as a signal to begin coordinated uprisings." The effect on the hegemony forces was immediate. Ships throughout their empire began receiving conflicting orders as their command structure collapsed under the strain of fighting multiple rebellions simultaneously. 3 minutes to weapon discharge, Morgan announced, but now there was hope in his voice. The planetary destroyer is losing power. Their command systems are failing. Lieutenant Nina Adams led a group of hybrid fighters in a direct assault on the weapon array. The Zilani energy beings had infiltrated the command ship systems, disrupting power flow to the planetary destroyer, just as it prepared to fire. The weapon is destabilizing, Adams reported. Energy levels are fluctuating wildly. I think their own systems are fighting against each other. Captain Julie Pierce brought Earth's Defiance alongside the command ship's hull and deployed boarding parties. Human Marines equipped with alien technology fought their way through corridors toward the planetary destroyer's control center. 1 minute remaining, Pierce announced. We're almost there. The boarding party reached the weapon control room just as the firing sequence entered its final stage. Working together, human technicians and alien specialists began manually disabling the planetary destroyer's systems. Weapon discharge in 30 seconds, Morgan warned. But the combined sabotage efforts succeeded. The planetary destroyer's energy cascade collapsed, its power systems overloaded by the quantum virus and direct sabotage. Instead of destroying Earth, the weapon destroyed itself in a contained explosion that crippled the Dominion's fist. Weapon neutralized, Pierce reported. The planetary destroyer is completely offline. Throughout the solar system, the remaining hegemony ships found themselves cut off from command and surrounded by enemies. Many began surrendering immediately. Others attempted to flee, only to be intercepted by refugee vessels that had been waiting decades for this moment. The battle for Earth was over, but the war for galactic freedom was just beginning. President Helen Clark addressed not just Earth, but the entire galaxy through captured hegemony communication networks. Her words were translated into hundreds of languages and broadcast to every world in hegemony space. To all species fighting for freedom, Earth stands with you. We offer refuge to any being seeking liberty. We will share the technology that won this victory, and we propose a new kind of galactic government, one based on cooperation instead of conquest. The response was overwhelming. Species that had been enslaved for centuries began declaring independence. The hegemony's 12 species, coalitions started fragmenting as member worlds, reconsidered their allegiance to an empire that could be defeated. General Paul Martinez emerged from his underground command center to coordinate the post-battle cleanup. Hegemony ships throughout the solar system were being secured by combined human-alien teams. Many contained valuable technology and intelligence about other enslaved worlds. Dr. Kate Sullivan found herself at the center of the galaxy's largest translation project. Representatives from over 50 species were requesting communication protocols to participate in the emerging Galactic Alliance. We're establishing contact with civilizations we never knew existed, Sullivan reported to the new Galactic Council forming on Earth. Some have been hiding in deep space for centuries. Others have been fighting isolated resistance movements on conquered worlds. The refugee species who had made Earth's victory possible became the foundation of the new galactic government. Their knowledge of hegemony technology and tactics proved invaluable in helping other worlds achieve independence. Harmony of Stars. The Keth High representative resonated with frequencies that the translators interpreted as deep satisfaction. For the first time in memory, the galaxy sings in harmony rather than discord. Your species has given us something we thought was lost forever: hope. Clicking metal sounds, speaking for the Vorthak, expressed similar sentiments in mechanical precision. Efficiency calculations show that cooperative government produces superior results to conquest-based systems. This alliance will function optimally. Dancing through void, the Zilani energy being flickered with patterns that suggested joy. The energy of freedom flows through the galaxy again. Worlds that were dark are beginning to shine with their own light. Within months, the Galactic Defense Alliance included over 200 member worlds. Earth served as the neutral meeting ground where different species could work together without the historical baggage of ancient conflicts. Admiral Morrison was elected as the first Supreme Commander of the Alliance fleet. His first major initiative was the Refugee Protection Protocol, ensuring that no species would ever again face extinction alone. We've learned that the galaxy's greatest strength is its diversity. Morrison announced at the Alliance's inaugural ceremony. Every species brings unique perspectives and capabilities. Together, we're stronger than any empire could ever be. Captain Rodriguez was promoted to command the Alliance's Deep Space Patrol fleet, searching for other refugee populations and isolated worlds that needed assistance. Her ships carried hybrid technology that combined the best innovations from dozens of different civilizations. The former hegemony territory was divided among the species that had originally inhabited those worlds. Reparations were established for civilizations that had suffered under conquest. War crimes tribunals were set up to judge hegemony leaders who had committed atrocities. But the most important change was philosophical. The galaxy had learned that cooperation produced better results than conquest. Trade flourished between worlds that had previously been enemies. Scientific collaboration accelerated technological development beyond anything achieved under imperial rule. Dr. Morgan continued developing hybrid technologies, now with access to knowledge from hundreds of different species. Medical advances, communication improvements, and space travel innovations emerged from the combination of diverse scientific traditions. The hegemony itself didn't disappear entirely. Some of their member species joined the Alliance after deposing their conquest-oriented governments. Others chose isolation, withdrawing to remote systems where they could maintain their old ways without threatening others. A few hegemony holdouts attempted to rebuild their empire, but they found no support among the galactic population. Worlds that had once cowered before imperial threats now stood together against aggression. Captain Pierce commanded one of the Alliance's exploration fleets, seeking out new civilizations to invite into the cooperative galactic community. Her ship, Earth's Defiance, had become a symbol of successful resistance throughout known space. The transformation wasn't immediate or perfect. Centuries of imperial rule had created deep wounds that would take generations to heal. Some species struggled to adapt to cooperative government after lifetimes of authoritarian control. But the fundamental change was irreversible. The galaxy had tasted freedom and found it superior to conquest. The Age of Empires was ending, replaced by an Age of Alliance. Earth's role in this transformation was remembered not as conquest or domination, but as the catalyst that showed diverse species could work together for mutual benefit. Humanity had faced the threat of extinction and responded by uniting the galaxy. As Admiral Morrison looked out at the stars from Alliance headquarters,